Hello and welcome to another Delboy random gameplay video. This one's going to be slightly different because I am going to do two games in one. So it's a double hitter. Yes, for all my American friends, they know exactly what a double hitter is. And I hope it becomes quite enjoyable for you to see two games in one. Now, there's a couple of reasons for doing this. Just recently, there's been talk of a game which I'm going to review at the end, and so therefore I wanted to do a video on that. But it's also very similar to this next video that you're about to see, which is called Gravitron 2. And I've had that game for a number of years. It is very similar to the sort of thing I review, which is an oldish game that's basically been given a sort of lick of paint, and it looks better for people that like modern type games. So the other thing that I wanted to mention about this is that there are two friends to my channel, and I want to shout out to those. One is 20th Century Gaming, and the other one is Steve's 8-Bit Gaming. Now, I mention those two because just recently, 20th Century Gaming, a great friend to the channel, like I said, has recently walked through the whole of Gravitron 2 in its entirety up until a couple of weeks ago, where they released a game pack free of charge to people that have bought the game. So he has done a whole walkthrough, like I say, for the first set, and he is only 3 levels away from completing the second set. Now, he's an absolute master at this game, and he's a really, really nice guy. And if you ever watch his stream, you'll see that he's a master at just about all games. I mean, his reflexes are just like a mystical ninja. I'm sure he's from 3 BC or something, and has practiced the arts of ninjuks and everything else. I mean, the reflexes on the guy is just incredible. And I really wholly recommend that you watch his channel. Now, I mentioned Steve's 8-Bit Gaming because I really do enjoy his channel, and he really does cheer me up. Now, today, just today, he's done a video on something called Space Taxi. Now, Space Taxi is a Commodore 64 game, quite old, and it has elements of Gravitron 2. Because in Gravitron 2, you have to rescue scientists, and in Space Taxi, you have to pick up fares and take off, and you're in a taxi that basically has got thrusters, so it uses a gravity mechanism, which is just what Gravitron 2 is. Now, I really recommend you go and watch Steve. He's a very good friend of mine. When it comes to his gameplay ability, I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning this. He's sort of like our pet cat, Rigsby. In other words, if you ever seen a cat drink 10 saucers of whiskey and has been at the catnip all day, that will probably explain his gaming reflexes compared to 20th Century Gaming. But he cheered me up today with his Space Taxi video, and I really would like you to go and watch that as best as possible. Now, that means that there is an intro to this video and an outro. This was the intro. I hope you like the next set of videos, and I'll see you all in the outro. Hello, and welcome to this random gameplay video, and this one is on Gravitron 2. I hope you like the introduction. This one is just like many of my gameplay videos, where I am playing a game that you would possibly have found on 8-bit computers of the era that I started, such as the Commodore 64, Spectrum, Amstrad, and is been developed for modern audiences, but they have a very similar look and feel. Gravitron 2 is a little bit like an arcade game called Gravitar, and it's pretty much self-explanatory if I just show you the instructions. So in this particular game, the primary mission is to destroy some reactors. The secondary mission is to rescue some scientists, which you do by landing very close to them. You'll need fuel pods because you will run out of fuel constantly because your ship is always using fuel. There is a time limit as well, so be aware of that. And there are checkpoints because as we get deeper into the game, you will need checkpoints to go back to the last place where you either got destroyed or you saved. So basically that is the instructions. Now it's a vector based game, just like the title explains. It uses gravity. You have a small ship. It can turn around 360 degrees, it can fire, it has a shield, and the only way you move is by thrusting forward with the thrust key. Now, there are a couple of control mechanisms to this. You can use a gamepad, which I don't recommend because it's quite a sensitive game, this one. You can use keyboard, which may be the preferred method, or there is the third option of using both mouse and keyboard. Now, there are 2 map packs with this. If you buy this game today, you will have the official pack and the standard pack. The official pack 1 is a freebie download that came out a couple of weeks ago. The standard pack has always been there. And that's pretty much it. So just want to mention that when I do my walkthroughs, I am not a fantastic game player, although I have played Gravitron 2 quite a bit over 2 years. That means absolutely nothing for this video though, but I will play until either I'm totally destroyed or I feel that you've had enough of a look at to gauge an opinion on the game. So with that out the way, we'll click on New Game and start. Now, first of all, it has a unique look, this, and basically it's very vector neon-y type of game. You'll see my ship, which uses thrusters, and you'll see the fuel is going down. There is a timer in the top left-hand corner. You can turn around 360 degrees and only can move forward by thrust. You do have a shield, but you can take certain hits. With that out of the way, let's see if we can get through this level. Now, a little bit different to thrust, which I believe this is sort of like quite close to in Gravitar, is that you can sort of land, and that's what these landing of these scientists are. You wouldn't be able to do that in thrust. So you just land and you pick them up. There we go. Now the primary mission is to destroy these reactors. So you've got to learn to thrust up, turn around, and then fire a lot. You'll see that it doesn't blow up by one shot. You've got to rapidly hit it. Then you need to thrust up off the planet to complete the level. And that basically is it, boys and girls. And we're going to keep playing a few levels just to show you some of the more complexity of the game. So here we go with stage 2. This one should be a little bit more difficult. There is a little mini map. It basically rotates round, so it does wrap around an awful lot, this game. But you will absolutely require that map later on when it comes to the more complex maps. Don't really need much fuel at the moment, but I'm just going to take some, and I'm just going to collect this little lone scientist. There we go. And then, if I can, I'm going to try and blow these 2 up. Now you do have a shield, but I sometimes forget to use it. As you can see, I'm playing very gingerly, and this is where my good friend Mark is a much better game player than I am. Like I say, you can take some damage, but not an awful lot. I took a wallop there. And the only way really that you can gain that back is to rescue scientists. You'll see that if I come down here and land, my damage will disappear slightly. Now, another little mechanism that is very handy that you need to learn later on is wherever there is a straight line, you can actually land. So if you do this little maneuver here, you can actually blow, if you do it correctly, you can actually blow it up without having to keep constantly thrusting up and turning around. So I did that a little bit wrong, but only because I'm useless. There we go. If I shoot that now, I can thrust off and then get off this planet. There we go, mission completed. Now, I do recommend 20th Century Gaming's channel because he's done a walkthrough of all of these missions and he is much better at this game. He is masterful, unlike me. So you'll get a lot of enjoyment watching his channel. Shoot up here. Let's see if I can get that. Yes, I can. Like I say, sometimes with these games, you will find that it's best to take it steady, but fortune favours the brave. And there are a number of times I've played this game where I should have just gone for hell for leather and just basically forced my way through. Ooh. And as you can see, I'm floating all over the place, not doing very well at all. Sometimes these little tricky maneuvers are incredibly... Yeah, 60 seconds and we're off. So I didn't do particularly well there, but I think you get the idea that if I had just forced my way through and just didn't worry about ricocheting around the walls, you could probably have done that level in about 30 seconds. If you're a bit timid, you can do it slowly like I did just there, and it works equally as well, but sometimes it's just better that, you know, to just force your way through. Now, I've told you a couple of maneuvers there where you can stick to the walls and so forth. That's where it's going to become a little bit handy in a moment here. If you look at the map, you'll see that there is a twisty, circular sort of like reactor for this particular one. But if you learn to use things like landing there, you can actually use that circular motion to get round this level, destroying quite a few parts to this reactor. And I got it totally up there because I was using my shield, but you can't fire the shield at the same time. So I lowered my shield to fire and I should have just kept the shield on. When you die, by the way, everything resets. So you do have to start this again. So anything that I blew up before is now gone. But we'll have another attempt at this one. Now it's best not to use that one there because of the laser. There we go. Like I say, if you do this in a singular rotation, then basically you've destroyed all of those little... like that, and there's one more round here. And there we go. Now, I was mentioning about using this sticky mechanism here where I'm attached to a very straight line of this wall and gravity doesn't affect you. If you look further down, you'll see that there are other straight lines that you can land on, but you need to thrust and turn around pretty quickly. There we go. And as you can see, I didn't really take too much damage there. It seemed like I was doing a lot worse. If I'm lucky, I can still get out. Now I've got 60 seconds, so it may look like I don't have an awful lot, but I do. So I can just thrust up and then follow this around, hopefully. As I say, some of these levels can get really crafty. There we go. And I've completed that level. Now that is an incredibly difficult level if you're having to thrust up, turn around and fire at those cannons all the time. And that definitely is the best method of finishing that particular level. So now we're on to stage 5. Now, I don't think there's too much of a difference to this one, to what we've seen already, but I think you're getting the idea of this particular level. That was a bit silly of me. I forgot which one was fire and which one was shield. So let's do that again. And like I say, sometimes, like I say, fortune favours the brave, and you could possibly just go straight down and do this level very, very quickly. I've not too much damage at the moment, so I think we're just going to go straight down here. Not doing too badly on fuel, but I am going to go up here and get some. You don't have to be terribly far apart from them, you see. If you haven't noticed already, if you don't do this quickly, the reactor repairs itself. Now, the only thing about this particular level is the lasers do basically alter stuff a little bit, but there we are. I managed to get through that one, and as you can see, I just thrusted away, not really worrying too much on whether I ricocheted or not. I think we'll do one more level and we'll call it a day. This one looks tricky automatically. Some of these ones can scare you a little bit if you're a bit timid. Like I say, you don't need to be too wary too much. You've always got people that you can clamber onto there. And on here you can use that little maneuver I said before of sticking to platforms. Ugh, I did badly there. But you can see I was going to rotate round there and start firing. And that's definitely, I think, the best way of handling this one. Trouble is, everything is now reset, so I've got to do all of that again. Oh, I certainly got hit there. There we are. Very, very simple level. And I think we'll call it quits there. This is Gravitron 2. And to be quite honest, this is a fun little game, which I think even new type of game players would get some very much fun out of. It can be a bit tricky. The controls are very, very quirky, but it's one of those ones where you'll get some mastery of the controls after 2 or 3 plays, and then you'll just be addicted. So I've hoped you've liked this little demonstration, and see you very shortly on the next video. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to another Delboy random gameplay video. This one is called Pilots of Darsalon, and this game came on my radar because I'm a member of a Discord channel called Mainmeister, and a couple of my buddies that have been going went to an event this weekend called NERG, and this title came up. And looking on Steam, I looked at my list and I didn't have it as a game. The screenshots looked quite good. It looked very much like a game that I used to play on my Commodore 64, only it looks like it's been modernised, i.e. given a lick of paint, and so I bought it. Only to find out that actually I bought this a year or so ago from the main website. But no matter to that, it's a game that I thought, well, I'd give it a review anyway and see what other people think of it. So let's look, as we always do, at the options screen and see what options that we've got. So we click on options. And you can see that you can put your nickname in, and there is something called a gift maker. Now a gift maker seems to be that when you press a certain key it will record a loop of video, press it again to stop, and that can then become a GIF. It's probably something that I don't think I'll use much, but it looks very much like could be fun for the kiddies. When it comes to controls, it is keyboard or gamepad. Now I've only played it on keyboard. I tried it on a joypad and didn't get on with it very well. You've got the normal music and volume controls, and then you've got something called a Crt Filter. Now I looked at this, and I'll go through them now. That is what is called scan lines. There are scan lines plus the corners. I don't know if you can see, but the corners are sort of like embedded in. You've got lines and corners and reflect. Now I believe that means that there is a slight reflection or ghosty mark around the corners. It is subtle, so I don't know whether that'll pick up. And then everything plus static. And then we go back to clean for the stream, which is what I keep it on. I'm not a big fan of scan lines, so I generally keep things on clean, but they can sometimes give a very rough look to the graphics. And then you've got pixel zoom. Now I've got this at 4, which is generally not too bad. This is what it looks like at 5, which is far too zoomed in for my liking. And then you've got 2, which is quite a highish resolution. but too far out. And then 3 again is just that little bit in between. So I keep it on 4, and I think that's probably the best of the options with that particular resolution of 920 by 1080. And then there is the difficulty levels. Now, I'm going to keep this at 5, which is challenging and fun, which is how it was designed to be. 6 has no checkpoints. 4 is for people who complain about difficulty, which I find quite fun. 3, people who complain about difficulty even more. And then grandmother and a narrative, which basically is a very high at all. So we're putting 2 challenging. And that's about it when it comes to options. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the front screen looks very... what's the word? It looks like they've definitely done a 3D type effect, but it's very, very pixelated. It's like a stripulating effect, like the later Commodore 64 games where they tried to blend in all the browns, you know, where you've got brown and orange and black, and it makes it look like a boulder and so forth, which isn't a bad thing when you consider that this is a Thrust clone. Thrust was always vector, but you can imagine what a remake would look like with levels where you wanted to use filled-in graphics. I'm going to come across the graphics as we play the game, so we'll come back to that in a bit. So we'll start the game and see what it's like. So it's initializing the GIF maker, even though I never use it. Now, here I am, and you can see there's a map in the bottom right-hand corner, and you definitely want to look at that. Press forward, and you can see there's some handholding going on here with some arrows. I have been told that is not all the way through the game. Now, I mentioned those graphics before because I don't know about you, but it looks very much like, as I get further into this game, it might well be that those background graphics I would think are foreground graphics, and I'm bound to have cracked into something. I'm hoping it doesn't, but here's a particular example. Can I go through there or can I not? Yes, I can. Now, I'd only know that really from the map. Okay, so the next thing is fuel. Looks like we're going to need plenty of it. There is a button for shield and fuel. The other thing I don't like about it is it's a singular button. So, if I press the button for pickup, if I press the button for shield, same button, either the shield is going to come on or I'm going to pick up something. And the game has got to give you, it's going to choose for you which one you want it. I died there because I was probably concentrating too much on what I was going to say. But we won't get caught out like that again. Here we go. I'll get caught out again. Look at that. So automatically at the moment I'm enjoying this because that was quite a difficulty there. There seems to be some weird effects going on at the top there. I take it that's the top of the map. Okay for fuel, but I'm going to show you what I mean. Look, there we are. So I'm holding the button down, and because I'm over the fuel, it's doing it. Then there's shield. As I get further down, shield is still on. Don't like that at all. So looks like I might have chosen too high a difficulty. I am useless. But we'll see how we get on as we go further in, and we'll leave the options on. Okay, this is quite challenging for an opener. So I need to go down here, it would seem. Keep an eye on that map because it probably will give me an indication on whether I need to be careful of some houses. Looks like there's going to be another big gun shortly. You can tell I've never played it. So no big gun, but I've got a... So this is the thrust mechanism. In thrust you have to pick up a globe and take it off the planet. This one I've got to pick something up. And there's the rope. And I'm going to take this over here and see. Definitely the gravity has taken effect now. I'll land it on this platform, am I? I let go of the rope and it went flying into the reactor. That's not good. So far, I'm really enjoying it. There's a couple of things I'm a bit concerned about. Looks like I'll cock that up again. Oh, see, I dropped the mechanism because I'm pressing the button for shield all the time. Oh, really losing it now. Come on, pull myself together. And there we are, managed to do it. But my God, I made that difficult. And I do apologise to anybody that is a fantastic arcade player, because I am not, as demonstrated just there. But that was enjoyable. So let's try another one. Always look at that map. Still some hand-holding going on with arrows. That's fine, as long as it's not there all the time. I'm happy. Putting the shield on because I want it to pick up. There we go. Where have I got to take this? To the beginning. There is a lot of gravity on this. A lot of gravity. I let go of the thrust, it starts swinging round and bang. This brings back so many nightmares of thrust. Oh, come on. The shield came on, but it should have used the grappling hook. I think that mechanism will probably work after a while. I'd have preferred a different button, but that's each to their own. People who have got modern day controllers have got 4 or 5 buttons plus triggers. People that are using keyboards don't mind basically having a couple of keys as long as you can configure them yourself. Fly off. Ah, there we go. It's crazy. So I think the graphics for me are definitely starting to grow on me, but I'm not sure. I'd like to know your comments about that, but they do look very stipulated and very rough in places. So this one seems to be quite dark, and I don't think you can see, but very murky. Maybe that's a good thing. Gives a bit of atmosphere. Definitely. Big block on there, I reckon that's going to be a big gun. That was right. I've got the shield up just to tell. Yeah, and I blew it up. Now, there's a button there. Just about see it. See what I mean about the graphics now? I'm starting to get used to the background. Oh. Starting to get used to the backgrounds also being filled in but look like they're rocks. So that's a good thing. I think the graphics will work on me. So I'm going to say no more about those. So here we go. Let's get up here. Does it close up on itself, that button, or can I just go straight through? Oh. It's being nice to me. Ah, thank you, game. And then we need to get over here to the landing pad, and this is where I'm going to have that horrible nightmare of gravity and trying to get everything to land. Got it. Ah! So that is Pilots of Darsalon. It's not bad at all. It's very thrust, and that's a good point, because I used to really love thrust. Would I have liked this as a vector game? The graphics are starting to grow on me, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, because I can see that they've used some light sourcing, and that's a really nice sort of like touch. Do I think that there could be something that I dislike about it? Yeah, the hand holding was starting to get a bit on my nerves, but I think that goes away from what I've been told. I was reading the README, and it was telling me that that's only there for certain levels. The other thing I'm unsure of is whether it's got a live system. I didn't see how many lives I've got. So if there are no lives, then I think only the high score is going to be the challenge. If that's true, then of course that would be another knock for me because I'd have preferred a live system. That's the end of this, really. And I hope you've enjoyed the gameplay video, even if my game playing skills are not that fantastic. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye. And we've reached the outro. I hope you've enjoyed those two random gameplay videos. Two very interesting games. Do I think that they're both worth buying? Now, the one thing I can say about Gravitron is that I've had the luxury of being able to play that for 2 years, and the game is very, very cheap. I mean, we're talking £3. And they've just released another pack of levels, which gives you not only the first pack, which was 42 levels, but I believe it's an extra 15 levels for the next pack, which has been given away absolutely free. That's 50 plus levels and well worth £2.99. The second game, I believe it'll take me a little while to get used to not only the control mechanism, but because I'd have preferred to have had a different key for shield and pickup. But the graphical look of it is also a little bit what I consider rough, a little bit hard to distinguish what is a background and what is not, what is something that you can collide with, what is something that you won't collide with. But it has that lovely element of fighting the gravity and that horrible surprise of a gun that suddenly turns up and fires at you, and you fighting to find what key to press. Now, that particular game, I believe, is just under a £5. And I'm going to recommend that both games are worth your while. But the second game I would buy if it's in a sale. And although £5 doesn't seem like an awful lot of money, if you look at those two games, they both offer the same enjoyment. But I believe that Gravitron pips it at the post in regards to the balance between frustration and fun. So that's my conclusion. I hope you enjoy this, and thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.